Poverty alleviation is the foremost priority of the government of Rwanda. The events of 1994 and their aftermath left the entire nation in a state of extreme poverty. Major national infrastructure like schools, hospitals, roads, and bridges were destroyed, and agriculture, the backbone of the Rwandan economy, was greatly affected. Therefore, it was pertinent that the government of Rwanda made strong policies that would reverse the downward trend and put in place different programs so that the country could rebuild itself and have sustainable development. One of the major anti-poverty programs that the government introduced to do so was Ubudehe.
And it was aiming to have the population to participate in the planning process. So up to now we can see that this program has had an impact on poverty alleviation because it has been now extended to all the districts and in all the Umudugudu. So I can say that the role in poverty alleviation is essential when we talk about the population to participate, especially when they have to identify their own assets and what they need as a priority.
The Ubudehe program, which began in 2001, was initiated by the Ministries of Finance and Local Government in collaboration with the European Union, which was the main donor, and other donors like Action Aid Rwanda. The objective of the Ubudehe program was to empower communities and poor households to overcome poverty through collective action.
Poverty reduction is the fundamental objective of all the cooperation activities that the European Commission is involved with here in Rwanda. This particular project addresses poverty as an issue directly. So we were attracted to Ubudehe for this reason. We saw it as a means of delivering aid at grassroots level fast and effectively, both to the local communities and to individual families that were in distress.
Through the efforts of the government of Rwanda and of the main donor, the European Union, the program was launched countrywide. From the pilot phase in 2001 to date, 26 million euros have been provided by the European Union, while the government of Rwanda's contribution to this program has been on average 200 million Rwandan francs per year. In this film, we are going to show you some of the projects that became successful because they raised the living standards of their beneficiaries. We are in the Nyarugenge district of Kigali city. This district has 10 sectors and 355 villages, and these villages consist of 56,500 families. Through Ubudehe, different projects were embarked on, either in families experiencing extreme poverty or through community collective action. We visited Tweeters Imbere Tailors, which consists of 6 women. This association, started by Mukangamije Savera through the Ubudehe support. With funding from Ubudehe, she bought a used sewing machine and equipment she needed to start a tailoring business. After a while, she was joined by another woman, Mukamana Eugenie. Their business has now become successful, most especially because they have got a lot of advice from the Ubudehe facilitators. It has expanded. 4 other women have joined the association, and they have bought 6 brand new sewing machines, including one that is run on electricity.
The support we got from the Ubudehe program has helped us prepare for the future. We have opened a savings account so that we may be able to build a fully equipped workshop. We will also be able to carry out training programs in modern sewing techniques. So this is such an opportunity, we can't afford to miss it.
Their tailoring business expanded, and today their business is well equipped with all the necessary equipment to do a professional job. They signed contracts with 3 schools, whereby the association makes uniforms for all the students studying there. This is along with satisfying their normal clientele. The members of Tweeters Imbere Association affirm that their daily lives change dramatically, and they believe that their future is bright.
We've made considerable progress in our homes. I no longer depend on my husband for clothes, although he can buy them for me if he wishes. I can also contribute to our children's school fees as well as buy their uniforms. I wasn't able to do that before, and it has contributed a lot to the security of my family.
Let us visit a project that is found in the Kimisagara sector. Here, like in many places in Kigali city, the population had a severe water shortage. They had to use unsafe water which they used to fetch from a swamp called Mpazi. When the Ubudehe program gave the people of Kimisagara funding, they chose to use it to avail themselves safe, piped drinking water. The Ubudehe program did not totally finance the project, however, but rather the population involved themselves either in providing the labor or contributing money so that the pipeline could be finished.
We used to fetch water from really far away. There was only one water source for a really wide area. This meant people had to struggle from morning to evening just to get water, and it caused tension. Some people would go to work without having a wash. It was a serious problem that affected all our lives.
In this sector, more than 200 families now have piped water running into their homes. This lady is called Mukamana Felicite. She has 2 children and she was among the 200 families that were availed water through the pipeline that was built through the involvement of Ubudehe. She says that her family doesn't have water problems anymore. The time that her family used fetching water from long distances is now used in other, more productive activities. She says that instead of using 2 hours to fetch a 20-liter jerrycan of water, she now does that in the comfort of her home in less than 3 minutes. The residents of Kimisagara are overjoyed that the water shortage has been solved.
We are very happy for this water connection we got through the Ubudehe program. I never thought that one day I'd have running water with taps in my home. We couldn't have achieved this on our own without the program's support. We also contributed money towards the project so that we could have a stake in these projects, which will benefit our descendants.
In the various sectors in the district of Nyarujenje, there are various projects that get their funding from the Ubudehe program. Some of these include building and renovating bridges. In the district of Kichukiro, a suburb of Kigali, Ubudehe's support went into various projects. In the village of Niboy, the community decided that the funding would go to building and renovating roads because they had become impassable for vehicles. Today, many of the roads are properly built. We are now in the district of Gasabo. These people sitting down are discussing about the Ubudehe projects in the district. They are talking about what either went wrong in the projects or giving advice to the families that haven't used the Ubudehe funding wisely on how to better use the monies. This man is called Kimonyo Emmanuel. Before he accessed the Ubudehe funding, he was living in extreme poverty. Now, he's involved in agricultural activities that have raised his and his family's standards of living. He sells sorghum, plants tomatoes, and with the profits he has made, he was able to build a home for his family and buy a cow. He also bought a farm plot at the value of approximately $600. He believes that his future and his family's future is secure.
I no longer have worries about the future. I have even given 25,000 francs, nearly $50, to a neighbor who was struggling. I now plan to donate a cow to the Ubudehe program as a sign of my appreciation so that other people can be lifted out of misery.
In the sector of Remera, in the cell of Chibagabaga, a bridge connecting the cells of Chibagabaga and Remera was built.
The Ubudehe program is very important in governance, especially in the training they provide as they help people broaden their minds. Besides that, for the people who got support, their lives have improved considerably, and a culture of team spirit is now taking hold in the villages.
The Eastern Province is a very fertile area of the country with many agricultural activities. This is where many cattle products like milk and meat come from. This is the area which is one of the main food baskets of the country. The Ubudehe program was well received by the people of the Eastern Province. We are now in the district of Gatsibo in the Eastern Province. In this district, many activities in line with the Ubudehe program are agricultural in nature. In public projects, Ubudehe consisted of giving cattle to the people, planting coffee trees and maize. Since the second phase of the Ubudehe program of 2007 to 2008, more than 300 heads of cattle have been distributed to the residents of this district. The genocide of 1994 tore apart the fabric of the Rwandan society. The people of Kayonza district appreciate the Ubudehe program not only for its tangible results, but more for the fact that the program helped bring about the coming together of the community and has promoted unity and reconciliation. To fight the youth unemployment that was rife in this district, the Ubudehe program helped these youth get jobs, teaching them to make crafts and become mechanics. These initiatives changed their lives so much that they are now living well.
The Ubudehe program is very important for development as it changes people's mindsets through the training program. People also do off-land projects. This is a trigger for development because it allows people to come out of their shells and create new projects through other institutions.
This is Dusabimana Jean-Baptiste. He used the Ubudehe support to begin a bicycle repair shop. He used the Ubudehe monies to buy the tools he needed to make his bicycle repair shop a reality. His shop has become such a success that he's expanded to selling spare parts for bicycles. He now dreams of going into other types of business with the profits he's made from his bicycle shop. He has now bought a house and has 3 plots of land that he uses to plant crops in.
The support helped me achieve so many things. I plan to set up a big garage where I'll be teaching young people how to fix bicycles because I have a lot of experience. There are so many bicycles in this area, so there is a market, and this will help other people through the Ubudehe system.
In the sector of Murundi, before the Ubudehe reached them, the residents of this place did not have a single kindergarten to send their young children to. But because of the Ubudehe program, in each of the 18 villages of this sector, there is at least 1 kindergarten in each village. Since the government of Rwanda plans to build a dairy plant in Kayonza district, many of those who get Ubudehe support use this support to buy cattle. Rwamagana district is the most prosperous district in the Eastern Province. Unlike many of the other districts whose Ubudehe monies was used to expand agriculture, the residents of Rwamagana district decided to use the funds to improve the educational sector in their area. They used the funds to build kindergartens in every village in the district.
People have created good projects that contribute to poverty reduction in rural areas in general. For example, people have built schools and nurseries for their children. People often think that these schemes only work in urban areas, but it works in rural areas as well. And now they are empowered to believe in their own ability.
More than 56% of the Rwandan population lives under the poverty line of $1 per adult per day. This reveals that all programs related to poverty alleviation should be further strengthened so that the poverty at local levels falls down. The southern province is the area where the most infertile soils in Rwanda are. Since Rwanda is an agricultural nation, this fact directly affects the residents of this province. Nyanza district is where the National Ubudehe program was first launched. The people in this district renovated roads, and the different sectors worked in partnership and availed electricity to many families.
There are many things that can look impossible but can change in an instant. For example, I have electricity in my house and my plantation has enough fertilizer. Of course, we still face some other problems, but there has been a great improvement in our lives.
Because many homes were built with poor construction materials, many brick-making projects were begun to avail modern bricks for construction.
This program interacts with our national development goals in all fields. Moreover, it helps us train people in how to make progress. A lot has been achieved in this area, and when we make field visits, people tell us they have plans aimed at their own development.
The Ubudehe program was introduced in the district of Muhanga in 2005, and it was immediately started in Shongwe sector in all the 331 villages in it. Different public projects began. Since the district had a water shortage, 276 boreholes were dug that now serve the people. This borehole was built in partnership with two villages, one called Mapfundo and the other Matsinzi. These two, with the support of the Ubudehe program, built a water pipe which cost 4,600,000 francs in total. The contribution of Ubudehe to this pipeline was 1,200,000 francs. The rest came from the local population. About 920 families use this water directly. The surplus water is then sold to residents of other places. The funds gained from the sales are then used to renovate the pipeline. In this district, there is a general lack of medical centers. That is why some sectors use the Ubudehe money to build medical dispensaries that help people when they aren't able to access large hospitals.
We have found it necessary to work hand in hand with all other institutions, right from the grassroots level upwards. And we have representatives on every level, and they make sure that people receive training through the Ubudehe program. And they are now qualified to carry out inspections. We have also put in place Ubudehe committees within the Umudugudu system, in which our representatives meet with the people and offer advice on different issues and offer support where it's needed.
We are now in the district of Huye, formerly known as Butare. The majority of the Ubudehe funds are geared towards commercial activities such as the selling of second-hand clothes. The extremely hilly and fertile Western Province is the area of Rwanda that borders the volatile Democratic Republic of the Congo. Rubavu district was deemed in July 2008 in a nationwide evaluation to be the district that best used the Ubudehe funds. Among the projects they undertook was one where they bought a machine that milled grain. In other projects, they built homes for people who were extremely poor and then built schools, among others. We are now in the sector of Chanzarwe. This area has extremely rich soils and people harvest plenty of food. In fact, the major problem they had was the lack of storage capacity for their harvest. The people have chosen to build a granary that will have storage capacity of between 100 and 200 tons. This is the sector of Chinyanzovu. People had to walk distances of up to 10 kilometers to reach medical centers, and as a result, many pregnant women were forced to give birth on the roadside. With the support of Ubudehe, the people of this sector decided to renovate the local health center.
Before we had so many problems, no hospital, so we had to use traditional methods. Now we have a hospital, and look, for example, this woman has come for maternity care services. And as you can see, she has benefited from this program.
In the sector of Gisenyi, we visited Bavugamenshi Winifred. She makes banana wine and juice. She was given 55,000 francs, which she used extremely well, heeding the expert advice she had been given on how to manage her project. Today, her businesses are valued at more than 6 million francs. She employs 10 people in her businesses and she has bought 5 plots of land. The district of Ngororero is one of the most densely populated in Rwanda. It has more than 75,000 extremely poor people living there. When the Ubudehe program first got there, goat rearing was introduced. In some families, agricultural output was increased because they used the goat manure as fertilizer.
The families, if we talk about these goats projects, the offspring once the family has got on its feet, those offspring can be handed across and given to another needy family, which in turn with the offspring can pass those goats on, the offspring, to another family, and so on and so forth, so that these family-based projects can have a multiplier effect.
In Karongi district, many Ubudehe projects were undertaken. Brick and roofing tile making foundries were built to combat the poor building methods that had existed previously. Roads and bridges were built and renovated. In the rainy season, flash floods drowned many people, but now these accidents are things of the past. Nyamagabe district is characterized by majestic, though nutrient-poor hills. Many of the Ubudehe programs are concentrated in the agricultural sector. We are now looking at the Mubuga wetland. It has an area of 25 hectares. The residents of this area chose to use the Ubudehe funding to plant rice and buy a rice threshing machine as well. Today, the residents of this area enjoy plenty of affordable rice. Along with this, the residents of this area planted 6 hectares of pasture for use by the livestock they received from Ubudehe.
They can do anything for themselves. By putting resources at their disposal in this way, you're giving them that hope, you're giving them opportunities to see how they can in fact influence their own destinies. So it has a very important quality as a program.
In the northern province, the Ubudehe program has been extremely successful. Some of the people who got support from the Ubudehe now believe that they don't need the Ubudehe support anymore and now just need advice on how to improve their projects. These people say that the Ubudehe funds should now be given to more needy people. In the northern province, the district of Musanze was the first to enjoy the arrival of the Ubudehe program. 864 extremely poor families were the ones which were chosen to participate in the Ubudehe program. One of the families includes the family of Jean-Pierre Tejera. He started a project of cultivating African prunes, and to date, he has 150 fruit trees. He harvests his crop every 2 weeks and he makes 50,000 francs every time he does so. He now has 600,000 francs in his bank account and is making an extension to his plot of land, where he's planning to plant another 200 more trees.
I used to be really poor, but since I got support, things have changed. I am now sowing plum seeds and plan to develop this into a viable business so I won't ever be poor again.
Like elsewhere, the residents of Burera district use the Ubudehe funds in various ways. A project of buying a cow for each poor family was begun in the area. When a calf was then born, this calf would then be given to another poor family, and so on and so on. Gakenghe is a hilly, fertile district. We visited a public project in the village of Gatovu where we were going to see a coffee farm. This area is known primarily for its high-grade coffee, and that's why when the Ubudehe project was proposed in this area, the people here decided to use the funds to improve and increase their coffee crop.
We have found it necessary to start a project that will benefit our descendants. So we have started growing coffee. It's not meant for us, but future generations will benefit from it as well.
82 families came together and planted 3,900 coffee seedlings using the Ubudehe funds. These families are attempting to reach their target of 10,000 coffee trees by increasing their plot size. The families' dreams are then to be able to export their coffee to major foreign markets and companies like Starbucks.
We haven't produced much coffee yet, but it is important that we carry out a long-term project that can produce larger profits. There are now a number of cooperatives that export coffee, and they started out like we did. So we make sure we move forward. We are now using animal waste as organic fertilizer so we can better coffee.
This man is called Alphonse Munyarubuga, and he's married with 6 children. Before the Ubudehe program helped change his circumstances, he was pushing loads on a wheelbarrow for a living. He didn't have enough money to give his family the basics they needed. With Ubudehe funds, he opened up a shop. Because of the success that his shop enjoyed, he built a house, extended his shop premises, bought land and started rearing pigs.
There's a huge difference between where I used to be and where I am now, since I benefited from the Ubudehe program. I am now a role model in my community. I used to live in a tiny shack with rusty iron sheets, but now people call me a man reborn.
Today, he has more than 800,000 francs in his bank account that he is planning to reinvest. All his children are now back in school and he believes his future is rosy.
I congratulate this program. Sometimes I can't find words to explain how happy I am that I have worked my way out of poverty. I wish other poor people could benefit from this program.
When we look at people who access the Ubudehe funds, the large majority use the money well and their lives have changed for the better. This farmer is extremely exemplary nationwide. His name is Leonard Maniragaba. He's 38 years old and is married with 3 children. He was once listed among the poorest of the poor, and because of this, he was chosen as a recipient of Ubudehe funds. He chose to use the funds to begin a chicken rearing project. At the beginning, he bought 30 chicks and bought fertilized eggs as well. Today, he has more than 850 chickens, while 250